everyone. If you're new here, I'm Alan with 𝗏𝗧𝗏𝗏, and this channel is all about sharing the joy of candle making. Now, today's video is kind of an exciting one. We actually had a bunch of you guys send in requests for me to review a company called Scentsorie. And I've not known very much about this company at all before. I have kind of seen them going around a bit online, and I just had a bunch of you guys want me to try out their oils. So we've got a box here, and we're gonna be doing just that. But if you are brand new to the channel, you're gonna realize really fast that fragrance videos are my absolute favorite to film. I'm a little bit obsessed with fragrances and proud. Anyways, if this kind of content brings a smile to your face, subscribe to the channel and tap the notification bell. Let's get right into today's video. Oh my God. I'm so excited to smell this one. In our usual style, I'm gonna flip the camera around so if the fragrance oils are all over the box, you guys are gonna see that. And yeah, we're gonna unbox them and I cannot wait. I have no idea what is in this box. They basically sent me a mystery box, kind of like 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 did, where I don't even know. Is it gonna be some of their best sellers? Is it gonna be some of their new scents? I have no idea, but let's get into it. Oh, this is cute. They've got, if you can see this, a little card in here. Biodegradable packaging, that's my gold standard. And then, wow, it looks like all the oils are bagged. And they've also included, it looks like, some of these little tops so that you're able to just pour a little bit easier. It's kind of a nice touch. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited for this. Leather and leaves. I love the packaging as well. It's very minimalistic looking. And I like how they do have some electrical tape. I don't really think this is necessary, but I think it's a nice touch. Apple picking in Vermont. I think this is the one that I was most excited for. I did look at their website briefly, and I thought this one sounded really intriguing. We've got Holiday Home. No idea what to expect with this one. Maybe something kind of woodier. Ooh, Charcoal and Torched Woods. I love the name on that as well. I feel like this could be like a unique take on maybe like a bonfire. Olive leaf and yuzu. I haven't seen too many olive leaf fragrances before, but the ones that I have reviewed on the channel I've really been a fan of, so I'm excited. I also tend to like yuzu as well. It's kind of a more exotic note. Ooh, wood smoke and pine. Very, very, very excited for that. Hopefully it's not a smoke in your hair. I also want to know, these are 2-ounce bottles, and I'm seeing more and more companies doing that. I think that it's really nice because it gives you a larger amount so that you're really able to test thoroughly. This one is called Coffee and Milk Clouds, Cinnamon and Warm Milk. I tend not to like cinnamon fragrances too much, but combining it with milk sounds very appealing to me and interesting. We have Fresh Cut Evergreen. You all know me with my tree scents on this channel. And then we have Milk Musk. And we've got a bunch of these little caps that you're able to just screw on if you like to. It looks like, yeah, it's a twist top, so you can just have a little bit more ease pouring. I tend to not really use these, but I know a lot of people do like them. So just a couple of quick disclaimers. These are just my out-of-the-bottle first impressions. So you always want to do your own, and you always want to test these in a final product before you have any final impressions. But that said, these videos are really fun to film, and I know a lot of you guys tend to really like them. So yeah, we're gonna get right into it. I also do want to say these are in no way sponsored or affiliated with the fragrance companies. That is a really big point. I like to keep my feedback authentic, and so it's important to me not to be affiliated or sponsored by any of these companies. What should we start with, you guys? I'm thinking maybe I want to start, there's a couple of milk fragrances that I'm kind of excited about. And oh, another thing is I don't look at any of the notes prior to the filming of these videos. I just like you guys to know whatever I'm smelling is what I'm gonna say, and then I'll put the actual notes of the fragrance from the supplier up on the screen for you so that you're able to see them and probably laugh at me when I get like none of them right. Anyways, this Milk Musk, that's an interesting combination, interesting juxtaposition of words there. I feel like I don't really know how musk could go with milk very well, but I'm curious to see. Also, I tend to be pretty critical on this channel. So whatever I say is what I think, for better or for worse. But we just like to have fun and smell new stuff. So here goes Milk Musk by Scentsorie. Let's see what it's gonna do. Oh, this is interesting. I was gonna say that I'm getting not very much milk, but as this dries down, I am actually getting quite a nice balance of something that smells like a clean, kind of muskier vibe, and actually something that smells milky to me. And that's really a surprising combination. It's almost like a creamy woods or a creamy musk type of a fragrance. If you're familiar with like iced vanilla woods, it has some things in common with that. If I had to guess, there's probably a vanilla in here, and there's probably some different, I would actually say fruity notes in this as well, in the top, maybe some different berries as well in the middle. So it's coming off as actually, if you know some of the more stuff that I would call immature, like Bath & Body Works kids section, it's almost like that same kid that used to like all that stuff, grew up, and then formulated a mature smelling fragrance based on a lot of those same types of notes, but that has more in common with, like I said, like iced vanilla woods, if you're familiar with that, where you're getting probably like some lavender and some musk and some vanilla and some different berry notes to this. Very sophisticated, quite prominent as well out of the bottle, which I would expect with these notes. But yeah, we're off to a good start. Next up, let's take a look at this olive leaf and yuzu. Now, yuzu tends to be a more exotic kind of a note. Also, I feel so self-conscious now when I'm showing these. There's been a couple people that commented, "Alan, don't show the bottles like that on the screen." But then there were some other people that said that they really appreciated it. So I'm not sure what you guys want me to do, but yeah, if it bothers you, just let me know. And if there's enough people that are getting bothered by it, I will stop doing it. I'm very visual. I learn very visually, and so when I do this, I'm not trying to like push it in your face. I'm more just trying to show you like a visual of what I'm looking at. Kind of like, I think of these videos personally as having you all like in my living room just smelling fragrance oils together, and I just want you to be able to really connect with what I'm smelling as much as possible through the screen. Now let me know what you think. So anyways, olive leaf and yuzu. I'm expecting, so for olive leaf fragrances, Candle Science has one. It tends to definitely not smell like olive, but come through as more of like an exotic, kind of coastal, kind of like an Italian, European sort of coastal, exotic sort of a vibe. And combining that with yuzu, I feel like could work really well, because yuzu tends to be, I don't know, a little floral, a little citrusy. So here goes, olive leaf and yuzu. Let's see what it's gonna do. Ooh, wow. Yeah, this is wow, this is quite complex actually. So I'm definitely getting, like I said, kind of a citrusy, it's a bitter citrus, maybe some bergamot, maybe some petitgrain, like a citrus rind almost. Almost has a little bit of like lime to it, or a lemon as well. And then it does have, I would say, this exotic kind of character. I don't know that I would pick out yuzu per se, but I definitely get that aesthetic to it. Same with the olive leaf. It's more poetic, I feel like. What does an olive leaf actually smell like? Well, not exactly what we think of when we see it on a fragrance oil bottle. If you've actually smelled one, like I've had actually grown olive trees, for example. They don't grow very well in Michigan, but I've tried. But yeah, this is a beautiful, bright citrus. It almost has a cooling quality to it as well. I wonder if there's like some eucalyptus in here or some rosemary. It's a unique take. I don't think I've smelled a citrus that, like I said, I feel like it has some sort of a cooling, almost not quite menthol, but like an herbal, almost borderline herbal medicinal cooling quality to it, combined with this upscale citrus rind. Next, let's take a look at the wood smoke and pine. Now, I hope this is not a smoke in your hair. You guys know how hard I am on smoke fragrances on this channel. I really want to like them, but the thing is when I get them, they tend to oftentimes smell like smoke in your hair after you've been at a campfire rather than an actual campfire. There was like a little white thing on top of this one. That's interesting. I didn't notice that on any of the other ones. It may have just been part of the cap. Oh, this is nice. They also do have, I just noticed this on the side of the bottle, I'm going to try to show you, they have the 𝗏𝗏 notes on here, and I think that's a really nice touch, so that way you don't have to go to their website. These labels feel really nice too. I love the gloss, I love the overall aesthetic of them, and I like the amount of negative space on them as well. It just makes the name really stand out, I feel like. So anyways, wood smoke and pine. Very excited. Hopefully not a smoke in your hair. Hoping it's going to be kind of earthier. Get that pine to it with some, I want something that's going to give me the smoke as well. So, here we go. Oh. Wow. Wow. All right. This has to be one of the most sophisticated smoke fragrances I've ever smelled on the channel. I cannot believe I'm saying this. Wow. I am getting a beautiful balance of, wow, of pine, but also smoke. And I really wanted the smoke, but not a smoke in your hair. It's almost like if you're familiar with Tree Sap and Fur by 𝗦𝗵𝗫𝗍, kind of that type of a vibe. Yeah, it also reminds me a bit of Golden Fir and Peculiar Pine by Black Tie Barn. This has more smoke to it though. So it has that sappy quality, but it has, wow, a beautiful, really sophisticated smoke quality. My one criticism of this is it is lighter out of the bottle. Now I'm really getting it on the strip, but, well, it's not really that light though. I feel like it's lighter than the other ones that I smelled, but it does have more base notes to it as well. I cannot stop smelling this. This might be my new favorite smoke fragrance that I've ever had on the channel. I think I reviewed Flaming Candle's Fireside as my favorite fireside fragrance, but I'm very, very, very particular. If you guys know anything about me, about firesides, this is such a stunning, sophisticated take. I am speechless. This is definitely going to be going into some candle wax because I cannot wait to see how this comes through. Yeah, you get just a, wow, it smells like a $200 candle. Like just a beautiful balance of the pine. So it's like a fir, but it's not a sweet sugary fir. It's a very sophisticated elevated fir combined with, like, it smells like you're out in the forest and you just get this beautiful wood smoke that's wafting through the air. But you're also like getting a lot of different wood in general to it as well. But it's definitely more of a fresh wood combined with like this wood smoke combined with pine. This hands down has to be, I would say, my favorite fireside fragrance that I've reviewed on this channel. I am just speechless at this one. Next, let's take a look at the Coffee and Milk Clouds. Now, they had the word milk in like 3 of these fragrances, which is interesting to me. So we had milk musk, cinnamon and warm milk, and also coffee and milk clouds. I'm very curious how this is going to be. I'm expecting kind of like a latte sort of a vibe from this, maybe something. This one also does have a white, you can see that, kind of a little cap on there. And I don't think it's part of the cap. I think it's a seal, but it's interesting because they didn't all have that. But I'm thinking this will be kind of like a latte. So I'm expecting to get kind of a sweeter take on a coffee. Here goes Coffee and Milk Clouds. And I can smell this from a foot away. Yep. Okay, but this actually leans more fresh coffee, like espresso. Yeah, this smells like a beautiful, like high-end, like an Italian coffee shop. Yeah. This, if you're familiar with Fresh Coffee by Candle Science, this, or Espresso by Brambleberry, which is one of my personal favorite coffee fragrances of all time, this really reminds me of that. Very prominent. I don't get a whole lot of milk out of the bottle. I just get a warm, like, espresso. So if you're looking for something that's a true coffee type of a vibe, it's not overly sweet, I would definitely check this one out. I bet there's almost like maybe a tiny bit of chocolate to it as well, like cacao, and maybe even, yeah, maybe some wood or something in the base, believe it or not. That just adds this level of depth and sophistication. Next, let's take a look at the leather and leaves. I am so excited for that one. Apple picking in Vermont. Oh my gosh, you guys. Okay, you know what? Let's just go ahead and let's do actually, I'm gonna do the fresh cut evergreen. I'm excited for most of these. They did a really good job. Actually, now that I remember it, because this was probably a month ago or more that I was talking to the person that had reached out to me from this company, and I said, they asked me if there was anything in particular that I wanted to review. And that apple picking in Vermont was the one scent that I brought up. And then the rest I said I just wanted to be a total surprise. Anyways, here goes the fresh cut evergreen. I'm expecting something kind of like Fraser fir or like a balsam and cedar. So here we go. Oh, yep. Very Fraser fir-esque. I do actually get a bit of almost some cypress to this as well. Yeah, this is a really nice classic pine. Definitely inspired by like a Fraser fir, a balsam and cedar, but yeah, there's gotta be some cypress to this. It's something that's a little bit more crisp and almost feels like cool air that you're smelling at the same time. Probably has a bright citrusy top note. Yeah, wow, the heart to this has gotta be a bunch of different kind of pine notes and fir notes, and maybe even a spruce note. And the base, probably just some like woods and musk. This is a beautiful classic take on a pine that I would also say leans high end. Yeah, it smells very similar to like a Fraser fir, but it's a little bit more like a crisp winter air combined with it. Almost like you combined a spruce and a fir, or a fir and a little bit of cypress. All right, I had to run in the bathroom and wash off my face and my hands again, just because I was, like in the last video, kind of whacking myself lightly in the face, and I didn't want to have the oils contaminated by what was like hitting my face. Okay, let's take a look at this holiday home. I have no idea where they're going with this one. I feel like it could go a number of different directions. It could be more of like a warm hearth, warm berry type of a vibe, like a garland. It could be one of those where it mixes that with kind of some citrus, or it could be more of like a warm wreath, like a spice predominant fragrance. I will say some of this electrical tape is sticking to the top. If you can see that, it doesn't really bother me, but it's a little hard to get all of it off, and it does kind of leave a little bit of a sticky residue on the bottle. I don't know if you can see that, but there's like a little bit of a residue. You could just hit that with some 99% isopropyl alcohol. You just want to make sure that the alcohol doesn't go near the label, or it'll probably take that with it as well. Doesn't bother me, I just wanted to point it out. All right, here goes the holiday home. Oh. Yeah, this is definitely kind of what I was describing. It's actually a unique take on a wassail, is what I would say. Like a mulled wine, like a citrus in a steamy pot type of a vibe with some different spice notes to it as well. Again, comes through as pretty sophisticated, I would say. Yeah, it's not overly sweet. There's a cinnamon, there's a clove I get, and then there's like some citruses in the top, and maybe even like some other fruity notes, like an apple note to this in the heart, and maybe even a plum. And then probably some different woods in the base. Yeah, it smells like a steamy pot that's like wassail, like mulled wine. There's definitely, I'm getting like a wine note to this as well. Really, really beautiful take. You could even brand this in the fall as like an autumn leaves, because a lot of times those will combine a spice and a berry and like an autumn air. Yeah, the more I smell this, I could equally see this going as a mulled wine or a wassail or like an autumn leaves type of a vibe. But it does fit the name, I would say, because during the holidays, I feel like especially is when you would have something like this on the stove, and it just gives this sort of cottage vibe. All right, you guys, well, so far we are like 6 for 6, which is very difficult on this channel if you've watched any of my fragrance videos for any amount of time. Let's take a look next at this apple picking in Vermont. Now, I'm pretty excited for this one. just because I've heard a lot of good things about it. And apple fragrances, they're one of those that can be a little bit harder to do well. Like I grew up with Macintosh Apple by Yankee Candle, for example, and that's a really classic, just crisp apple. And I feel like a lot of times fragrance companies are combining it with like a lot of different spice notes, and that's okay, but I think just a crisp apple is really classic, so I'm kind of hoping that that's what we get from this one. Anyways, here goes apple picking in Vermont. I can already smell something that's intriguing. See what it's gonna do. Oh, interesting. This is not what I was expecting. Yeah, this definitely leans like a honeyed crisp apple. A very sweet apple. I would beg to almost say candy apple. Not a caramel note to it. Yeah, it is an orchard apple. Not a Macintosh though. I don't get Macintosh from this. And we grow Macintosh apples in Michigan. I picked them almost every year as a kid. No, this is like a honeyed orchard apple or like a honey crisp apple. Yeah, it's a classic apple, not in a way that I've smelled though before in a fragrance oil. Yeah, it doesn't have a lot of spice to it, if any. There might be a tiny bit, but I don't really get any spice. It's more of a sweeter take on an apple. Not a candy apple as in like kids section, but like a candy apple as in like an apple dipped in that red stuff. You guys know what I'm talking about. Yeah, you're getting this like golden nectar to it, combined with, you get kind of like the crunch of the apple. And I do get a little bit of green to this as well. Like maybe it's some of the orchard. I also get probably some woodier notes in the base to it. It's a predominant, just gonna come through as like a warm honeyed apple. But I definitely could pick up in the base like some woodier notes, possibly. And then, yeah, like an orchard sun, orchard leaf type of a vibe as well. I'm intrigued by this. I will say, I don't know that I'm disappointed. It's not what I would have expected. But I haven't smelled anything like this in a fragrance before, so I think that it's really unique. And I have to give it points for that as well. And I think that it definitely captures like an orchard afternoon. And I feel like it's kind of a storytelling fragrance. Next, I'm really excited for these last three, you guys. The leather and leaves and the charcoal and torched woods I'm most excited for. Let's do this cinnamon and warm milk. This is probably the one I was least excited for, just because I don't tend to be a cinnamon person, but combined with warm milk, I feel like could maybe be like a milk and cookies fragrance, which to me just has kind of a cozy vibe that even though I'm not a cinnamon person, I'm intrigued. So let's see what this one is gonna do. Oh, yeah, okay. So this is kind of like a, well, I was gonna say like a snickerdoodle cookie. If you smelled Snickerdoodle by Candle Science, this is very similar to that oil. It definitely has like a bread component to it as well. It's not just a straight cinnamon with milk. That's predominantly what I get, but I also get like some other spices to it as well. Yeah, this is kind of like a cinnamon dough and milk. Reminds me a bit of 𝗏𝗟's's maple chai and sweet cream as well. It almost has like a pretzel note to it. Or like there's gotta be a bread note of some sort in this. Very prominent out of the bottle, which I would expect for these notes, but I like how there's more of a balance to it instead of it just being cinnamon and milk. You're getting like a cinnamon, like a cozy type of a milk and cookie vibe from this. Got a warmth to it in a nostalgic way. That reminds me of, my grandma used to make these cookies out of pie crust, and they had cinnamon in them. I don't know if any of you guys know what that is, but we used to make them as a kid, and we would roll it up. So she would make the pie dough, and then we'd put like cinnamon and different spices in it, and then we would make it in like a log type of a roll and slice it. And this is exactly what it smelled like when it came out of the oven. Let's take a look at the, what should we do? Should we do the charcoal and torched woods? I'm so excited for this. Now that I've smelled the other one, the wood smoke fragrance, I am so excited to see what this one's gonna do. I'm guessing that it's gonna be, again, hopefully kind of a smoky vibe, but definitely not a smoke in your hair. I'm gonna be even more critical now that I've smelled the other one and I know what this company is capable of. Here goes charcoal and torched woods. Oh. Wow. Wow. Okay. Wow. This company, I'm like getting chills. This company is a master of smoke fragrances. A master. I just dropped the cap. You guys. What does this remind? I know what this reminds me of. Okay, I'm gonna go get it. I know exactly what this reminds me of. I'm literally speechless. So, one of my favorite perfumes of all time, 𝗏𝗏𝗡𝗏𝗧 by Le Labo. This bottle right here costs over $300, and there's no longevity to it either. It's literally one of these things where you spray it. It gives me chills every time I spray it. It's spiritual. Like, it doesn't last for more than 15 minutes on the skin. It has just this sacred warmth to it. So it's smokier, but it's kind of smoky and almost like a clean. Yeah, so this fragrance is definitely smokier than the one I just sprayed, the 𝗏𝗏𝗡𝗏𝗡, but it has a lot in common with it. It's almost like if that 𝗏𝗏𝗡𝗏𝗡 were taken to a bonfire. This is not a smoke in your hair either. There's also some leather in this charcoal and torched woods, I think, that is being utilized really, really effectively. Or some suede or some type of a textile leathery note. Wow, this is a really, again, it smells like a $200 candle when you smell it. Absolutely stunning, stunning take on a smoke fragrance. These are so hard for companies to do. I can't tell you, if you've watched the channel for any amount of time, you will know how many I've reviewed and just pretty much shredded. Last but not least, we have Leather and Leaves. I'm really, really, really excited for this. This company has really impressed me. Like, I'm not gonna lie. There are some really, really unique fragrances from someone who smells a lot of different fragrances and who smells a lot of the same fragrances, kind of branded differently. I don't think, well, some of these may have been inspired by certain fragrance oils, like the wassail one that I said, the Holiday Home, but they're unique takes. And that's what I really appreciate as someone who smelled so much of the same, that some of these just are really totally different, or they're unique takes on, you know, something that I've smelled before. So anyways, here goes the Leather and Leaves. I have no idea what to expect, but I'm very excited. Oh, okay, this is interesting. Yeah, I am getting, this one's lighter out of the bottle. I'm actually getting something that reminds me of a fragrance, in this case, that I have smelled before. It's not the same though. So if you've smelled, I'll put the name up on the screen. I think it's something in Suede by Flaming Candle. It reminds me a bit of that. Also reminds me, actually no, it reminds me of that, but also more of like a clean witch's brew type of a fragrance. So like if you smell Patchouli by Candle Science, I guess that there's some cinnamon to this, some leaves. So leaves kind of smells like, it has a nectar note, it has a berry note to it, and it has kind of an autumn air note. In this case, I'm getting more of like a witch's brew type of a vibe. I don't know that I'd really pick out leather in this fragrance though. And it is lighter than I would expect based on the notes out of the bottle. But yeah, it's definitely like a kind of patchouli with spices is what I would get from this. Yeah, I'm intrigued by it. I'm wishing I was getting more of it, more of everything that I'm smelling. Yeah. It almost has some things in common with like tobacco fragrances as well. Like a spiced honey, patchouli, witch's brew type of a vibe. Well, thank you so much to Scentsorie for sending all these over for an authentic, unfiltered review. Bravo to you guys. I'm very impressed. If you've watched any of my videos, you will know how critical I am. So for me to be this positive about 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, like 9 out of 10 of your oils is really, really unusual for this channel. Now, I will be ranking these from my least favorite to my most favorite, as always, over on my Patreon. So go ahead and head on over there. And if you're not already a member, I would highly encourage that you join. You get not only fun fragrance rankings, but also all of our formulas for Earthglow, as well as one-on-one support from me in a secure chat where you can ask me your candle making questions and I will respond to the best of my ability within 24 hours. I'm also curious if any of you guys have tried this company before. They're just not a company I've heard very much about. So I'm curious, have any of you tried them? And if so, how do you think their oils perform? And in what waxes have you tried them? Go ahead and give this video a thumbs up if you did enjoy. And I'm sending all of you peace, love, and light. And I'm wishing all of you happy candle making. I'd like to take the time to thank my patrons for their incredible support.
Trusting your instincts, realize that knowing looks different to each. When living authentic, do more exploring, deeper than knowing just what is essential for life that is thriving. Go deep, mute out the chatter, feel it, burn off the fire, let go until there's peace to your core. Live a life you adore. True self, all that's standing. Live free from worry. Live by just being. Power in finding your wholeness in now. Go deep, mute out the chatter. Feel it, burn off the fire.
Stay authentic at all costs and never lose your spark, because that's what makes your brand uniquely you. I'm rooting for you, and I know you have what it takes to be successful and to have fun with this craft. Until next time, happy candle making.